Sherrie Price Clark of Storehouse Media Group. How are you? And I know you're excited about our guests, as you always just getting these amazing guests, amazing stories. We have another one.
I am excited. I meet a lot of interesting people. And I'm like, you need to come on and share what you got going on, whether it be your story or whatever. And so when I met Nelson and he tells me, well, he has his water filtration and filtration system. I'm like, oh, here we go again. But he blew me away with what he had to say about it. So we're going to talk to Nelson McIlveen, and he is the CEO of Sentry H2O. And just stick around and listen because it'll blow your mind to understand just how important the water is to us today here in America. Welcome, Nelson.
Thank you, Sherrie, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Nelson, tell us about H2, this H2O. Why is it so different from other water purification systems?
Okay, so in water, you've been told all your life bottled water is the standard of water. But when you're a kid, you drank it out of the faucet, right? Out of the hose. That's what we did. And bottled water is not the standard. And RO systems, which is reverse osmosis, we all know about that. And then we have a system in our house that we put a bag of salt in it every week or every month. We've been told that's what we should be doing to protect ourselves from the toxins in the water. It's no farther from the truth. So in the world of water, we have the water that the average person drinks, which is bottled water, RO water, and salt in their shower. Then there's the water that the elites of Europe drink and the elites of America drink, and that's our water. Our water has no toxins in it, and it's healthy for you. So when you drink our water, all of a sudden now you're getting healthy. And that's something that is a game changer for the average person. All of a sudden, your world becomes, within 2 days after drinking our water, you're going to notice a difference in your health. So that's the level that the water changes. So water matters. What, 80% of your body's water? So you think about it. If you're putting water in your body that has chlorine in it, ammonia in it, which we call chloramines, whoever heard of drinking ammonia is good for you?
Mm.
That's what you're drinking. That's the level where you're at, right? Fluoride. Think about this. Fluoride is in all water. So when the government said they're going to try and take it out now, that's an admirable thing to say. But water and fluoride comes from the ground, water comes from the ground. So it's always going to be a level of fluoride in your water. But fluoride is not a product to enhance your teeth. Fluoride is a product to start cancer. It's a cancer starter. It creates thyroid cancer and then others. Okay. So it makes your
Who,
body angry, is what it does.
who would have thought that? I mean, we get fluoride treatments and everything growing up. Who would have thought that it was cancer starting? That's scary.
Well, the elites of Europe know it because we've had conversations with them about it over 5 years ago, not before a gentleman came out and said it's bad. So back in the 1800s, fluoride, they knew that they didn't want the fluoride in the water. So they came up with a product called bone char. Bone char is made of animal bones. And when the fluoride passes through our product, the animal bones collect all the fluoride at 100%, not at 80,
Mm.
not at 90, all of it. So they came up with this in the 1800s. And then around 1920, when pharma took over, it became a bad word. And we pay very dearly for this product. The government has it at a price point that you wouldn't believe how high it is to get it.
Wow.
So that's what we use. The best of everything in our product. There's nothing, we don't skimp on anything. So we take the fluoride out, we take the arsenic out of the water, we take chromium 6 out of the water, boron, and all heavy metals. Okay. That's the package right there. And then we pull out vinyl chloride. You know those white pipes in your house? They're getting away from copper because they're telling you copper's bad. Then they're putting white pipes in your house. When you put white pipes in your home, they're made from a product called vinyl chloride, which is PVC, which is mustard gas, which is what they did in East Palestine when they dumped all that vinyl chloride into the drinking water. So we went in, East Palestine, and we gave away enough product for every home in East Palestine to get a product that removes 100% of the vinyl chloride out of the water. So we had the EPA do chain of custody, and we had them test for it, and we removed all the vinyl chloride. So that's what we do there. Now, here's the good part. All that's nice, but I'm going to tell you the exciting part of the product. We remove all pharmaceutical VOCs. Okay. What does that mean? When you take in pills and you go to the washroom, I get to drink it. When you take in vaccines and go to the washroom, I get to drink it. Okay. So that's why you got men wanting to be women now because of all the estrogen that's been dumped into the drinking water. Okay. So we remove out every vaccine out of the water. We remove out all the nanoplastic in the water, and we remove out all the PFAS in the water. And by the way, there's not 20, there's 220. And we take them all out. We tested with all this with the EPA. So how we do that is, remember this. Back in the day, they told you ROs are the way to clean water. Well, reverse osmosis kills water. It makes it dead water. The way we do it now is time and density. So normal carbon runs about 600 to 900 grains of density. We use a catalytic carbon, and we developed a product for very wealthy people in Europe so that the fish would not, in their fish farms, would not take in vaccines. And this product is at 2,800 grains of density with magnesium infused into it. It took us several years and a lot of money to create. And that's what's in our product now. So all this toxin is being taken out of your water. Now, one of the things we do is we add oxygen to the water. So when the scale passes through, we have a product called CT resin, and it's negative and positive ions, and it creates an oxygen bubble. And you'll see it in the water. When you drink this water, you'll see this oxygen. I got people call me and say, my water's gray. What's going on? So let it sit for a minute, and it goes crystal clear. That's the oxygen in the water. Okay. So men, when you get up in the middle of the night and go to the washroom, like me, 5 times a night, you drink our water, and all of a sudden your prostate shrinks with the oxygen, and you don't get up at all. Women, if you don't want to go and have Botox, drink our water because now you're getting hydrated with magnesium and calcium in your body. Things
I'm
happen.
digging that.
Okay, I get,
I'm
women.
digging that.
Well, check this out. How would you like your hair or your skin to be soft? By using our house system, and we'll get to that in
I'm
a
digging
moment.
that too. I'm
Okay,
all over that.
those are the things that change your life. So then, after we do those things for you, we turn around, we put a pH in the water of 9.0. So 9.0 pH is alkaline water, and ours never goes back. And you know how when you buy alkaline water from a grocery store someplace, it says 7 days after the water was put in here, it goes back to normal, or your Kingdon product goes back to normal. Ours, once it passes through our system, stays at 9.0 forever
Wow.
because we do it with minerals, not with electricity. We do it the way God gave you water. This is the way it was 2,000, 7,000 years ago. It hasn't changed. So let me share this with you. You'll get a kick out of this. When we give our water to my wife has a dog rescue. When we give our water to the dogs, we have dogs in our rescue that never left. Nobody wants them, so we want them. And those dogs, I'm talking about big dogs, 16 years old. They're drinking
Wow.
the water. Yeah, and that's normal. I got a husky that's 11. Generally around 11, huskies start getting old. She acts like a puppy still. She's been on the water all of her life. The water matters. Horses, we're coming out with the horse product next month. The horse product is portable. It's a portable unit, so for camping, horses and whatnot. And we put the #1 barrel racer and the #4 barrel racer horses around our water. They're very finicky. They only drink out of their bucket with their water. They got to bring water from their home wherever they go on the road, and that's all they'll drink. I put a bucket of my water down next to it, and they drank 2.5 gallons and wouldn't touch their water again. That's how nice they can smell the poison in the water. That's how big a deal it is. We can't smell the poison in the water, but they can. Animals can. So that's for that's what the water will do for you. Now, you got a home. You got an on-demand hot water tank which scales up. Our water, it'll never scale up because the oxygen makes the scales pass through. How about your water tank, your hot water tank that has, I don't know, just 10, 15 years old and it's got half of its full scale. Within 6 months, we'll scrub all the scale out of your hot water tank. bring it back to a pretty good state at that point. How about your washing machine that has mold and fungus in it? We clean it out. Your dishwasher, no more scale, no more jet packs, no more water spots. And that's how it works. So what we do is we manage scale, and scale's good. Hard water is the best thing in the world. When they told you hard water is bad, that's because they're killing the water. Hard water means you have heavy minerals. Heavy minerals means you don't have leg cramps anymore because you got magnesium going in your body. You'll sleep better. All these things are from minerals, and these are natural minerals. These are not synthetic pills that you're taking, and you think you're taking a magnesium pill and it's synthetic, right? How good is that for you? This is all natural. This is the way God gave it to you. This is the way it works, guys. Your body will thank you for it. And it's very simple. So we have a under the sink product that takes 20 minutes to put in. No holes, no drilling, nothing. We got a house system. It's all done with sharp bites. You cut the line, put one on one end, one on the other, and you don't touch it for between 5 and 15 years, depending on which size you buy. You don't even look at it. I got one in my house. I'll be honest with you. I never ever I don't know where it's at anymore. My wife put boxes around it. It cleans itself, it manages itself, it does everything itself. And I'm going to tell you why we came up with this product. About 8 years ago, maybe seven, I'm a guy that I don't do medicine. I don't get sick. I'm just that guy, right? About 7 years ago, I went to my doctor, did my physical, I do twice a year. And he goes, Nelson, we got a problem. Your PSA levels are going up. By October, this is in June, by October, I was at 4.0. So I went and had a ultrasound done. I had a growth. I went to a specialist in January, and he said, we're going to have to do a biopsy and then probably have to take it out. And I said, okay, so what does that mean? Because I'm not in the world of medicine. I don't think about it. It's not my world. I don't care about all that. He says, well, you're going to be changed. We're going to have to cut everything out, your prostate out and all that. And you'll be a different person. And I looked at my wife and I said, no, let's go home. And she's kind of like, well, you're going to die from cancer. And I said, well, that's better than the alternative in my mind. So we went home. I moved scale in factories. Okay. So Hershey's, Kraft Cheese, Kohler Industries, we go in and we move the scale with our products, with the CT resin. We manage scale with oxygen. I said, if I can get that oxygen into my gut, maybe I can do something with this cancer. So I built my first system. That was in February. We moved into a new home in February. I drank the water till May, went back for another test. The doctor looked at me and said, what did you do? I said, well, I've been drinking oxygenated water. I didn't know about the pH. I didn't know about the minerals. I knew nothing. I just wanted that oxygen. And he goes, you're back to 1.7 and the growth is gone.
Wow.
And I said, whoa, okay,
Wow.
maybe we got something. Okay.
Right.
And the other strange thing was I quit getting up and going to the bathroom. I used to get up 5 times a night. Not anymore. I can sleep 12 hours. The magnesium in my body lets me sleep like a baby. So, I pass out at night. And that was the first, like, maybe we got something. And then we started refining the process and we built systems for friends and family. And then we decided, well, maybe it's time to put this on the market. And that's when we came out with something I think very unique and very cost effective for people. And that was the big thing. A lot of folks, they don't have a lot of wealth and they don't have a lot of expendable cash. So we built this at a cost factor that is as tight to the bottom line as possible. Because the product, to give you an idea, carbon, the carbon that's in your reverse osmosis system, the carbon that's in your refrigerator filter, that's regular carbon, has no benefits to you other than smell and taste. That's all carbon does. We use catalytic carbon, and that carbon that I was just telling you about will go for about $40 a cubic foot. The carbons that we run are well over between $100 and $800 a cubic foot. And we use approximately 5 different carbons in our product. And then we bring in materials that come out of this, minerals that come out of Siberia. So we're using very high-end products. And the CT resin is built in a nuclear reactor. And that's how it generates the negative and positive ions, you see? So those are the things we're putting on the market, which are, I believe, exceptionally well. We've tested with the EPA. because the EPA doesn't really like me. So when they tell me it works, then they're telling me something they don't really want to tell me. You can go to NSF and these other water companies, and they're more or less a pay to play. So if you pay them enough, you're good. We don't want to be good. We want to be the best. We want to give the American people the best product on the market. And we feel that, and everyone who has our product enjoys it to the level where they've seen miraculous things happen that is above and beyond anything I can ever imagine telling you. You know, and that's what we've seen. And we have testimonials that are going up on our website. We've kind of not really gone down that path, but we have testimonials of people with a lot of different sicknesses, let's call it that, that have been, they're in a better place. And that's all I can say about that. And it's really amazing. But the worst thing that's going to happen when you drink this water, you're going to find that you can't get enough of it. Your body will start craving it. And last year, my wife and I, we went to Hawaii for 10 days, like our first vacation ever. And by day 8, I was panicking because I started getting leg cramps because I didn't have my water. You know, you start noticing these things. Your body starts telling you, hey, let's get back on the juice, you know, because right now we're not happy. So we've seen all that. And I think that those are some of the things that we see as a positive. And then we are getting involved. We get involved in a lot of areas where people need help in the water world. North Carolina is one of them. We're starting to get involved in North Carolina. We gave away a few systems, Sherrie, I believe. And
Yeah, it was more than a few. Was it was like 100, right?
no, a little more than
Oh,
that.
yeah, okay. Well,
Okay, so
because
to us, that's a few because we went in when we went into Ohio, we gave away well over 2,000. So,
mm,
you know, because that's how many people needed them, right? So that's what we do. And here's the funniest thing. We do wells, okay? So a lot of people have wells and oh, my well water's great. No, it's not. What we're finding in wells now is uranium. We're finding fluoride at heavy levels, which you shouldn't find, and nitrates, are all the pesticides. And we are one that takes uranium out of drinking water. So we are setting ourselves at a level where we're trying to make a difference where people are there is no other way of getting around it. So, and everything we do is, lack of better words, it's on the eco-friendly side is what we do. So there's no chemicals, there's nothing of that nature at all. The worst thing we have in our product is the plastic that holds the water in a bowl, you know, and that's all done with materials that are above and beyond the level of, there are no toxins coming out of them. So when you look at what we got, it's something that is very, very safe for humanity.
You know, just so intriguing, Sherrie, this introduction and hearing this story. I think that what are the people that are saying, come on now, this isn't true. This doesn't work this well.
Okay.
What do you tell them? What do you tell them? You know, that's the thing. When you, so I've always talked about this. When you have the cure for cancer, and this is a marketing term, this means it's not the cure for cancer. It's something that's just unstoppable. No one's going to say no to this offer.
Okay. So
That's when the naysayers come out and say, "Come on now,
they and
why are you the one that figured this out and someone else, not someone else?"
okay, so I didn't figure it out. I have chemists that figured out problems, okay? And cancer is not the problem. It's not the problem at all. So we're not figuring out how to fix cancer. That's not going to happen.
Mm-mm. But that's just a term for marketing for
Yeah,
something that's a great thing to market. But go ahead.
no, let's not do that. Okay. Let's figure out the toxins in your water. So we built a product around taking toxins out of the water. Okay. That's where your problems start in life. What you put in your body and what creates things in your body. Okay. So what we did was we had to take chloramines out of the water, which is chlorine and ammonia. Catalytic carbon does that. Okay. That was our first step. And then we had to put oxygen in the water. So what we did was we used a product called CT resin that takes and creates oxygen around scale. And the reason why we had to do that was you cannot drink tap water now because the scale makes stones in your body, right? You got a little bit of scale, and then it collects with another bit of scale. Next, you know, you got a snowball in your body, and you're in the hospital hoping you don't die. Or when you go to the bathroom, you're in all kinds of pain. So what we do is with the oxygen, it breaks the scale down. And that's how we manage scale in factories. This isn't about you, it's about commercial, right? That's how we manage it. So we take that and we break it into a powder form. It can't hurt you. Now you get the benefits of that scale, which is magnesium and calcium. Then we have a product called trapezoid, and that takes a magnesium, calcium and builds it up so that now you don't need to take a magnesium pill, which is synthetic. Okay, so you see how we lay this out. It's not about anything more than taking a problem, taking a component, and attaching it to that problem. Next, we want to get rid of fluoride. How do you get rid of fluoride, folks? Very easily. You use animal bones. Animal bones, fluoride sticks to the bone. Bone shards, what it's called. Okay. That takes care of that problem. I don't know how anybody else is getting rid of fluoride, but that's how we do it. Okay. So we have carbon that removes fluoride, but in the state of Florida, they are 3 times the national average, and we weren't sure that we were doing the job right. So we came and we reached out and we found an old timer that knew about bone char. Okay. Now we got something that we tested with the EPA, all good. Next, you want to turn around and you want to kill acid in your body. pH. That's why we use alkaline water. I didn't make that up. You didn't make that up. That's what we've been doing for years, correct? So trapezoid boosts the water to a 9.0. Now, here's something people don't know. This is very new technology. How do you get rid of arsenic? How do you get rid of chromium 6? Boron. Well, you can use a carbon and maybe get rid of it. Or what we found out is I take the pH from 7.5, that's in every city water tap, to 6.0. All your poisons fall out of the water. Then we bring it back up to a 9.0 so that it enhances your acid, kills the acid in your body. We fix a problem. It's just a problem. We're not going after anything other than that.
Mm.
Then we have this thing called vinyl chloride. And in Europe, they developed, my guy in Europe, who is my chemist, is Deepak Chopra. He developed a product that takes vinyl chloride out of the water. It captures it at 100%. So that's a carbon we use to clean East Palestine, and if you have any kind of vinyl chloride piping in your home, which is PVC, we capture it. So you're not drinking it. Then we came up with how do we get pharmaceuticals out of the water? It took us over 2 years to create this product, and it's at a carbon density of 2,800 grains, which normally is at 600 to 900. And we infuse magnesium into it, and that pulls out those toxins. Now, when you don't have those toxins in your body, what happens? Good things happen in your body. That's all. It's just a matter of delete the problems, delete the things that are adding to your problems, and see where the body reacts to. That's all it is. We do the same thing for your home. When I take the scale and I put an oxygen bubble around it, that oxygen bubble will scrub your water lines in your house and it scrub your hot water tank. And it's all gone within months. Okay. Then I go into your wash machine. I take that oxygen and I scrub all the mold and fungus in your wash machine from your washing detergent, right? Then we go into the dishwasher and we do the same thing. So all we do is we take products that fix a problem that's in either your home or it's in your body. And that's all it is. We're not going in and we're not saying that we have the secret cure for anything. No. If I can take a toxin, just like when you eat food, if you eat GMO food, you're going to be sick. It doesn't work, right? If you're eating plastic in your food, you're going to be sick. But if you're eating food that is, no vaccines in it, none of these things, you're going to be healthy. And that's how we look at life. So if you keep your world clean, the outcome is good. So the naysayers can say what they want, but if you look at the facts, just look at the facts. Forget about all the other chatter, all right? Look at your facts. If you can do this, you're going to have a good outcome. I'm not saying, you got these guys out there in the water world, it's always been black magic. And they were going to tell you this, that, and the next thing. I've seen it all. Bottom line is this. All I'm telling you is we take a certain kind of a product, carbon or minerals, to eliminate a certain toxin. If we eliminate the toxin, the outcome should be good. And that's how we look at it. But to eliminate toxins is very, very, very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we feel is we put together a package for people that is cost effective. Okay. And
Wow.
that's the game we're working with. I used to build for a living. I started my company 25 years ago. I used to build reverse osmosis systems and the tanks for the major water companies in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And when I realized what was happening, I connected with a company over in Germany, and they had a better way of doing things. And we connected, and I put together this product. And what we did was we went and had it tested. So what I say is, okay, I'm changing the magnesium. I'm taking out the vinyl chloride. We had that tested. I'm not telling you now, if I take vinyl chloride out of your water, am I going to make you healthy? I think so. But I'm not telling you that I'm going to relieve the cancer or whatever else. What I'm telling you is if I take that poison out of your diet, will that help you? And that's
Got
where
it.
we're at. Okay.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So
Well, you know,
let's go, Sherry. Yeah.
I was going to say, when you talk about oxygen and you infuse the oxygen, what comes to my mind is hydrogen peroxide. Like when you pour hydrogen peroxide on a sore, it just bubbles because my understanding is things can't survive in an oxygenated environment. Is that correct?
That's that's so correct. Okay.
Okay.
So what the government has told us that cancer, for lack of better words, or any kind of disease, for lack of better words, cannot be in the same environment in a controlled atmosphere, which is your body, right? They can't commingle. Okay. That's all I know. I'm, let's take that out of the equation. When you when you put oxygen into your gut, now we don't inject oxygen. We create it through a process where you got ions in scale. When that goes into your stomach, then it goes into your gut, we believe, right? Well, what we get out of this is energy. You get energy. Oxygen creates energy. We race, we drag race cars. And what we'll do before when we go down the drag strip, we take a hit of oxygen. What does that do? It sharpens up all your senses, right? So you cut a better light, you run a better time, you win the race. Runners do the same thing. So oxygen gives you energy, it gives you sense of your surroundings. It's not a bad thing. Okay. Now, the big plus here may be the pH. Acid is a bad thing in your body, right? Doesn't acid create heartburn and all that? Don't we take Rolade and Tums and all that for acid? Okay. So pH eliminates that. That's all I know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not, but I know this. If we take the toxin out of the equation, we're better in our lifestyle. Dogs figured it out. They will drink. And, this is a funny story. So once a year, my wife and I will go to the most expensive steakhouse in Phoenix, Steak 44. Not plugging for them, just saying. They'll tell you, don't come here if you don't have $400 in your pocket. Okay. And so we go, and this is what my wife does. She orders filet mignon, cuts it in half, cuts off a piece for every dog. And then she takes that home and she puts it down on the floor and a bowl of water. The dog will walk up and smell the steak and then smell the water and drink all the water before he eats the steak every time. That's how well this water smells to dogs. And that's all I can tell you. Their noses are way above ours, right? I mean, they can smell things. Horses, the same thing. Calves, we lose about 50% of our calves in this country, I should say around the world, because they will not wean from their mothers. They won't drink the poison water. The smart ones die, the dumb ones live. Our water and calves, they wean every time.
Wow.
That's the
Sherrie,
difference.
this is just an amazing podcast, Sherrie, because what it's bringing to the table is something. But I just need to know, Nelson, how can somebody like myself saying, I really want to help myself to get involved in this in some sort of way to help improve my water and my health? What's the best place to go?
Oh, this is so easy. Okay. So you go to our website, Sentry H2O with an S. Okay. You use your promo code, you get a 10% discount. If you
But
go
we
ahead.
may need to tell them the promo code WNC for West North Carolina, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
WN,
See,
W as in walk, N as in Nancy, C as in Charlie.
yes. So when they go to the website, they put that code in and it will give them 10% discount right off the bat, 10 off. Then what they'll get is they'll order the product. And if
Mhm.
you bought the under the sink product, I would recommend a shower filter. So now you're showering in clean water too. And it's a
Mhm.
real filter. It's good for like 3,300 gallons.
Right.
And it takes under the sink takes about, because you've never done it before, it takes you 30 minutes. All you need is a drill to put two screws to hang the unit on the wall, and you hook up the cold side to the, you take your cold side of your faucet off and you hook the lines on with a wrench and you're done. Then you turn the water back on and the cold side is your good water. Um, you can, if you have a T from your refrigerator, you can plug it right in. We give you a fitting for that. And now your refrigerator is on the clean water and your ice cubes are being made on the clean water. If you so choose to do your home, then what you do is you contact us. And then we walk you through the process because we want to make sure you get the right size for your house and all those things. And you still use the code and you get 10% off of that. So a home under 2,500 square feet, that system runs about $3,500. A home over that is about $6,500. Okay. But the $3,500 system is good for 7 years. You don't touch it. No bags of salt, nothing. The larger system is good for between 10 and 15 years because it's a larger system. So that's the difference. And that's all you do. It's very simple. And if you order the under the sink unit, you'll have that within 3 to 4 days after you order it from us. And there's a video on both the house and the under the sink of how to install it. So there's a YouTube video step by step by step. And I'm telling you, man, it's so easy. It's so easy to put in. I got ladies 70 years old putting them in.
Wow.
That's how easy it is.
Yeah. You'd have to dumb down those directions for me because
No,
I'm like,
no, Sherrie, you watch the video and it says 1, 2, 5 steps and you're done.
wow.
You know what the hardest thing is? Cleaning out your cabinet.
Okay.
That's it. That's the hardest part of the whole thing. Everything else is unscrew a line, you screw a line on, you screw a line on, you put the thing on the wall, and that's the extent of it. It is so simple. And you don't lose very much space. RO systems, you lose all that space underneath your sink, right? Nothing. Oh, and by the way, if you have an RO system, you're putting 3 gallons down the drain for every gallon you get. You know that. With ours, it's a pass through. You lose no water. So now you're not throwing water down the drain at all. That's the difference. And then, so it's a whole different way of looking at water.
Wow.
Okay. Well, we had an unbelievable education for sure.
Yeah,
We
it
appreciate it
was.
so much, Nelson. Again, the website for people.
SentryH2O.com with an S, not with a C, with an S. Okay. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thanks again.
All
And
right.
go to storehousemediagroup.com. You want to write a book, do any types of production, podcasting, website, everything, all at storehousemediagroup.com. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Thank you, Nelson,
That
for
was the special
coming.
simulcast of the Neil Haley Show.